Every time you open Instagram, someone is quietly convincing you to buy a lifestyle you cannot afford, and you're playing right into their hands. You wake up, reach for your phone, and before your feet even touch the floor, you are bombarded with a curated highlight reel of success that isn't yours. You see a stranger on a beach in Bali, a friend from college driving a brand new luxury vehicle, and an influencer flaunting a designer wardrobe that costs more than your monthly rent. Your brain, wired for survival and social hierarchy, doesn't see these images as marketing. It sees them as the new standard for belonging. You feel that familiar, sinking sensation in your gut, the fear of falling behind. This is not an accident. This is an algorithm specifically engineered to keep you poor, turning your deepest human insecurities into a profit engine for companies that don't know your name. Consider the scenario of someone you might know, or perhaps someone you have been. You're sitting at dinner scrolling through your feed, and you see photos of a friend's weekend getaway. It looks perfect. The lighting, the food, the effortless joy. You feel a pang of inadequacy. Suddenly, the modest vacation you had planned for yourself feels small and insignificant. You decide to overcompensate. You book a trip you can't afford, using a credit card with a predatory interest rate, just to capture that one photo that says, "I am successful too." You are trading your future financial freedom for a temporary hit of dopamine and the validation of people who are likely doing the exact same thing. You are financing a mirage, paying 25% interest on a memory that will fade long before the debt is paid off. Why do we do this? It goes back to our biology. For most of human history, being cast out of the tribe meant death. We are hardwired to seek social proof and to emulate the leaders of our group to ensure our survival. In the digital age, the tribe has expanded from a small village to a global landscape of billions. The algorithm, in its cold mathematical efficiency, has discovered that the most effective way to keep you clicking is to exploit this evolutionary drive. It feeds you content that triggers your envy, knowing full well that when you feel inferior, you are significantly more likely to purchase products that promise to elevate your status. It is a psychological trap that turns your desire for belonging into a cycle of perpetual consumption. When you buy things to signal status, you're essentially renting approval. You're spending money you worked hard to earn on goods that depreciate, all to impress people who are too busy worrying about their own image to notice yours. This is the core of lifestyle creep. It is the invisible force that keeps middle-class individuals stuck in a cycle of paycheck-to-paycheck living, regardless of how much their income increases. You get a raise, and instead of investing that money into assets that grow, you upgrade your car, your phone, or your furniture to match the aesthetic standards set by your digital peers. You're running on a treadmill that moves faster the more you sweat, and the finish line is a mirage that recedes every time you reach for it. Think about the last time you made a purchase that felt like a must-have. Was it truly essential to your life? Or was it a reaction to something you saw online? We often convince ourselves that we are making rational decisions, that we deserve this luxury, or that it is an investment in our personal brand. But deep down, the motivation is often rooted in the fear that if we don't look the part, we aren't the part. The algorithm knows your insecurities better than you do. It tracks your pauses, your likes, and your search history to build a profile of your vulnerabilities. It knows exactly which images will make you feel small, and it serves them to you with surgical precision, waiting for the moment your impulse control weakens. To break free, you must first acknowledge that your digital environment is not neutral. It is an adversarial space. Every ad, every influencer post, and every sponsored recommendation is designed to shift your perception of what is normal. When you see a life of constant travel and luxury, you're seeing a statistical anomaly, not the standard. By normalizing these extremes, the algorithm distorts your reality, making your own life look lackluster by comparison. You have to stop looking at these feeds as a reflection of reality and start seeing them as what they are: highly polished, paid-for marketing campaigns designed to extract capital from your pocket. This leads us to the concept of stealth wealth and the power of the silent accumulator. While the world is shouting its success from the rooftops of social media, the truly wealthy are often the people you don't notice. They aren't posting their receipts, they are building their balance sheets. They have realized that the ultimate status symbol is not an item you can buy, but the freedom to control your own time. When you stop trying to signal status to others, you free up massive amounts of capital that can be deployed into assets, stocks, index funds, businesses, or real estate that actually produce wealth instead of consuming it. Minimalism Digital is not just about deleting apps, it is about reclaiming your attention span. It is about auditing your inputs. If a particular account makes you feel the need to spend money to feel worthy, that account is a liability to your financial future. Unfollow it, mute it, block it. You don't need to see the latest fashion trends or the newest luxury travel destinations to live a meaningful life. In fact, the less you see of that noise, the more bandwidth you have to focus on the boring, unglamorous, but incredibly effective work of building long-term financial stability. Consider the math of your choices. If you took the money you would have spent on a luxury car or a status-driven vacation and invested it into a diversified portfolio over the next 10 years, you wouldn't just have the money. You would have the compounding power of that money working for you while you sleep. The Instagram lifestyle costs you two things: the money you spent and the future value of that money had it been invested. This is the opportunity cost that the algorithm hides from you. It wants you to focus on the now because the now is where the transaction happens. It never wants you to think about the 20 years from now because that is where your power lies. Building wealth is a slow, quiet process. It is rarely exciting. It doesn't make for good social media content. You can't post a picture of yourself reading a boring financial report or putting money into a retirement account and expect a flood of likes. And that is exactly why it works. The lack of external validation is the tax you pay for true independence. When you stop performing for an audience, you finally start living for yourself. You move from a state of being a consumer of manufactured desires to being an architect of your own financial destiny. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you didn't care what a single person on the internet thought of you? Would you still buy that watch? Would you still drive that car? Would you still take that trip? Most of the time, the answer is no. By stripping away the performative layers of your consumption, you discover what you actually value. Perhaps you value time with your family, or the ability to work on a passion project, or the security of knowing that you can survive a financial crisis. These are the things that actually lead to happiness, yet they are rarely the things being sold to you. This is not about living in poverty or denying yourself any joy. It is about conscious, intentional spending. It is about asking yourself before every significant purchase, is this purchase serving my long-term goals, or is it serving my need for external approval? If it is the latter, you are being exploited. You are letting a line of code dictate your life choices. You are outsourcing your self-esteem to a platform that views you as nothing more than a data point to be monetized. To reclaim your life, you must intentionally design your digital environment. Curate your feeds to include people who discuss real wealth, who talk about the challenges of saving, who focus on the philosophy of enough. Replace the influencers who sell you vanity with mentors who sell you principles. It is a subtle shift, but over time it changes your entire worldview. You stop seeing yourself as a participant in the race to the bottom, and you start seeing yourself as a player in a much longer, much more rewarding game. Financial freedom is not a destination you arrive at by buying the right things. It is the result of resisting the urge to buy things you don't need with money. You don't have to impress people you don't like. It is a rebellion against the algorithm. Every time you choose to save, invest, or simply refrain from a status-driven purchase, you are winning a small battle against a system designed to keep you subservient. You are taking back control of your resources and, by extension, your future. So, the next time you feel that itch to upgrade your life because you saw a post that made you feel inadequate, pause, close the app, put the phone down. Remind yourself that the person on that screen is not showing you their struggles, their debt, or their insecurities. They are showing you a marketing asset. Choose to invest in your own reality, in your own assets, and in your own peace of mind. The algorithm will never stop trying to sell you a fantasy, but you have the power to stop buying it. Your wealth, your time, and your freedom are yours to protect. Do not trade them for a digital like.